the set time has come. Nga ti na schedule nga oras dimtingen. So when you want to study prophecy, start with Israel. Because Israel is God's prophetic clock. Pagurasan ti Apo, iti Israel. So, when Israel started to return to Israel, when the Jewish people started to return to Israel, the clock moves. So 1948, May 1948, the prophetic clock started to tick, tick, tick. So in today's message, we are going to learn Zechariah 9. Adu kakasat kadagiti theologians and Bible scholars nga kitanda that the early part, it is Zechariah chapter 9, was fulfilled by Alexander the Great, the greatest Greek conqueror, Alexander the Great. But the Jewish rabbi see this verse, this chapter, as written for our time. Nga dahito chapter 9 na isurat ang may paay kadatayo tata nga tiyempo, especially for the Jewish painful time. Tirigat dagiti Hudyo ti agdama nga panawin. So it was written for our generation, especially for the Jewish painful time involving Gaza with Hamas and Hezbollah in the north. And it is so interesting. In fact, what opened my eyes was I read an article by a Jewish rabbi. This article about Zechariah chapter 9, I said, oh yeah, this is true. So, out of that concept, I made this sermon. The concept of the rabbi, then I made this sermon. So, Zechariah chapter 9 describes 21st century war scenario. Doon discussion kakasan ni Prophet Zechariah. Ti gubat, ngam saan nga gubat iti panahon da, no di gubat tagda mga panahon. So our world had already experienced two world wars, World War I, World War II. We hear rumors of war. Damag tigubat in Ukraine, the Syria, the Lebanon, in Afghanistan, Pakistan, then last week started in Myanmar. At dapagad tigubat between nations, between China and Philippines, between China and Taiwan, between China and India. Rumors of war. And people are asking, when will we have world without war? Kano tayong madaan ti lubong nga awanan ti gubat? And Zechariah chapter 9 answers that question. So, batang kakasat ni Zechariah ti chapter 9, no kaano. But before that, we first see a prophecy for our time. Tipadto nga may paay kada tayo, ititimpo tayo. The Bible was written for all generations. So it had a message for the first century, for the first audience, and it has a message for everyone. At mensahin na idinaisurat na ita, kat at mensahin na ang agtultuloy amay paay kada tayo ita. Take for example, in Zechariah chapter 1 verse 13 and verse 17, and the Lord responded to the angel who was speaking with me with gracious words, comforting words. Nga ti anghel na kipagsaw kanyak, ti sao nga makaparigta, sao nga makaliwliwa. So the book of Zechariah was written to the Jewish people who returned from Babylon or Iraq tata, from Babylon, Iraq tata, who returned to Israel after 70 years captivity. And it was a book to comfort Israel. That no liliwaan ti Apo ti Israel. So even today, the Israelites find comfort by reading this chapter 9 during times of war. In verse 17, this is what the Lord of armies says, my cities will again overflow with prosperity. The Lord will again comfort Zion and again choose Jerusalem. Nga ni Apo, liwliwaan namanan, it is Zion, that is Jerusalem. Liwliwaan namanan, ti Apo, tagiti tattao na, kat parang ayan manan ni Apo Diyos, iti Israel, after too much destruction. Nga first, inaramid dagiti Assyrian during the time of the Assyrian Empire. And then, time inaramat kakasap iti Medo-Persian Empire. Time nga inaramid iti Grecian Empire. Mabayan kini General kakasap nga Alexander the Great. And then the Roman Empire. So, imbaga ti Apo, that the word is a comforting word. So, dahito'y Zechariah chapter 9 is a word of comfort kada the Jewish people even today. In fact, a great prophetic word comes to us in this chapter. Dakal sa daytoy nga padto amay paay kada tayo tatang panuwen. Prophecy is of the great proof of the scripture that God knows the future. Tadi padtoy pagkita nakakasat kang pamanagnet nga ni Apo Diyos talaga amuna ti masangwanan, because prophecy is history written in advance. Ti propesya pakaistoryaan nga naisurat nga imununa sakbay nga napasamak. All history is a record, a written record of what transpired in the past. Kasi halimbawa, Philippine history, a written record that happened in the past. But prophecy is a written record of what would happen in the future. na isuratan ti mapasamak iti masangwanan, nga description ti mapasamak at pudno nga mapasamak. And that is prophecy. So, this shows the greatest proof of the truth of the Scripture is fulfilled prophecy. Dahito'y kakasat nga tungpal ng propesiya, iso dahit pamanagnak nga pudno tinasantuan nga surat, pudno ni Apo Diyos. Now, in Zechariah chapter 9 verse 1, begins with a reference to the land of Hadrach. Hadrach. Verse 1 says in the New American Standard Bible, the pronouncement or the word of the Lord is against the land of Hadrach. The land of Hadrach. And the rabbis asked, where is the mysterious land of Hadrach? Sa dino daytoy nga daga. Awan mat daytoy ti mapa. Awan daytoy iti geography. Awan daytoy masarakan ti archaeology. So this is a mysterious land. Where is Hadrach? And the Jewish rabbi nakita that this verse 1 is a hint to the time period addressed in this chapter. Nga daytoy word nga Hadrach, ket may sa kakatsat saan nga may sa nga nasyon, saan nga may sa nga city, hanga may sa nga pagarian, no di may sa nga hint, may sa nga makatulong, tat no maawatan tayo, ti plano ni Apo Diyos, iti daytoy nga kapitulo 9. And according to the Jewish rabbi, the word Hadrach can be broken into two separate words. Nga baling ka sa nga gudwan, daytoy, duwan, daytoy nga sao, Hadrach, kaya na nga sawan, had meaning sharp, and rock meaning soft. Had natadam, ngam daytoy rock, naluknang, napino. So the Jewish rabbi interpreted that, ni Rabbi Judah kakasat kinunana, this refers to the Messiah who is sharp against the nations and soft to Israel. Nga daytoy nga Hadrach, tuktukuyan na ti Mesias, nga umayto, nga iso natadam amay kontra kadagiti kalaban ti Israel, nga iso na pino amay paay ti Israel. So, ipagpakita na dito, dahil Rabbi Judah, in the 15th, 16th century, kinunana nga tayo nga bersikulo, tuktukuyin na, dahil timpon to, nga inton umay ti Mesias, inton umay ti mangisalakan, isunto ti aramidon na, he would be a sharp one against the enemy of the people of God, but soft one for Israel. So to ko yung nakakasat about the coming difficult times iti Israel kantintiro nga lubong. nga daw may tinakaro kakasat na narigat nga tiyempo. Amay paay, iti Israel